All right, so in this lecture, we are going to be talking about value. Value is how light or dark a particular color, or if you're in black and white, a value would be. So all the way on one end you have white, and all the way on the other you have black, and values fill the space between those and everything in between. So value is going to be really important for helping to describe form, helping to create contrast. It's going to be really important for helping viewers know where to look in an image, and it's probably one of the most important things to understand and be able to master when you're making art, is having a good understanding of value. So here we have a value scale. If you've been an artist for any amount of time or been interested in it, you've probably seen one of these before. And if you've ever taken a drawing class, you've probably had to draw a value scale. Well, in this, you're not going to have to draw one, because when you're working digitally, you can just color pick whatever value you want. You don't have to really worry about having the perfect pressure sensitivity when you're drawing with a pencil to make sure you get the right level of darkness. You can just literally go over to your color picker and grab whatever sort of value you need. But it is still important to understand how dark things actually get in an image, and when and where to use certain values, and how different things will be affected based off of the lighting of the scenario and stuff like that. So this is our value scale. Here's what we're going to do. I have here this image of a zebra. It's in black and white. And looking at this, we have a pretty wide range of values in this black and white image. Now, our mind knows by looking at this that a zebra is black and white. We know that the stripes look black and the other stripes look white. But in reality, they're not actually quite all the way black or quite all the way white. For example, if we come down here to the darkest part of our image, and I grab my eyedropper tool, we color pick that, you can see that it's not quite all the way black. If we look up here in our image, you can see it kind of moving around there. Our color picker in the top right, it's almost there. It's almost right in the color, in the corner of the black spectrum, but not quite. Same with his nose. We know that his nose is black in reality, but because it's being lit, it's not actually black. In fact, it gets all the way up above mid-tone gray, which is pretty high for something that we would consider black when we look at it. So we can even compare. If we come over here, we grab this light color on his backside here, and we come down here and decide to paint it in. Let me bring my brush size up real quick. We can come over here, we paint in, this is the black on his backside compared to the black down here on his neck. You'll see that it fills quite a huge spectrum in our value scale. Now let's come over here and select the white and paint that over here compared to the white in the shadows. And you'll see that these two colors are almost the same. The shadow area of the white is very close to the lit color of the black stripes. And you want to keep that in mind, that even things that we would consider black when they're in the light aren't going to be all the way black. The thing that makes them look black is their contrast to the values next to them. So the white stripe next to this darker gray makes our mind think, oh, this is a black stripe, when in reality the value itself is far away from actually being black. So you can see as we kind of go around this with our eyedropper tools, we go around this scene, you can see where, if you're looking up at the color picker, the values range. So even this black stripe right on top of his head, there's still a little bit more we could go to get all the way to black. Let me make this bigger, we can have it in a little bit more detail. You can see there's still a little bit of space. It doesn't go all the way black. Even in the eye here, which seems like it would be completely black, really dark, these stripes, there's still a little bit of space. The whiteness doesn't go all the way white. Now, this doesn't mean you can't ever go all the way black or go all the way white. You just want to be very selective about it, because in reality, it's pretty a rare circumstance. And additionally, you want to make sure that you're using the full range of values. Now in this image, it's really high contrast because we have black stripes right next to white stripes. Now, that doesn't mean your entire image has to be like that. We have what's called high key and low key images. A high key image is one where it's predominantly light values, and a low key image is one where it's predominantly dark values. And you can have something in between. This one would probably fall closer to the middle, slightly on the high key side, because the background is really light and there's not really heavy shadows. Even in the shadow area, it's pretty well lit. So keep that in mind. Now let's do a little game here. We have this other image here. And what we're going to do, we're going to turn on our value scale. And in fact, actually, let's just do this. We're going to bring our value scale up on top here. We'll go ahead and move it out of the way so that we can have them both in the same layer. We can work with them together. So I'm going to move this over here. And then we'll grab this one. All right, perfect. And then let's go ahead and just merge those together. Excellent. So let's get our eye picker tool. The point of this game is going to be, I'm going to get rid of my little value selection up here so that we can't see with the color picker what value I'm picking, and then you're going to try and guess where on the value scale this value lies. We'll get our paintbrush tool, we'll paint it, and I'll give you a second to guess, and then I'll actually do it. We can see if we are right. You can sort of follow along. Okay, so let's start with her skin right here, right on her forehead. How light do we think this is on the value scale? I'm gonna say it's probably right about here would be my best guess. And looks like we're pretty accurate. I would say that is the most accurate one between the two to the left or the right. You can see if we paint it on the white, it's definitely too dark. And if we paint it on, if we paint it on the left, it's too dark. If we paint it on the right, it's way too light. So let's try another area. Let's try this dark spot in the recesses of her hair. I'm gonna guess that this one, it's not full black. I'm gonna say it's almost black and paint it right here, which I'd say that's pretty accurate. Let's compare it to the one on either side. It might actually be a little bit more accurate being full black. I mean, it's not quite there, but in between these two, it's definitely closer to full black than that next layer gray. All right, let's try the shadow area in here under her neck. Where do we think this falls? I'm gonna guess, looking at that, it's gonna be right here, which, yep, it's almost indistinguishable. You can see if we paint it here or here, it's definitely too light or too dark. Let's try her teeth. How white do we actually think her teeth are? Her skin is this really light gray right next to white, which means her teeth are actually going to be pretty white in this one. We can paint it, we can see, yep, I would say that's its closest relative in value, even though you can see by painting it here, it still isn't all the way white. When we look at the image, you might think, oh, that's definitely white. Those are, I mean, I don't know how you could be whiter, but when we compare it to pure white, you can see it's not quite white all the way. Let's see, let's do the white of her eye. If we come over here and color pick the white of her eye, we'll even do the one that's really well lit. Most of us would think that this is, when we would paint this, that we want to paint it white, but it's actually fairly dark. You can see it's that second color right down from white. And if we do the other one that's in shadow even, you can probably go down a whole nother notch. And yep, you can see right there, it's the third value from white, which in our head, we think of the white of the eyes. Our instinct and our intuition would be to just paint it white. But if we did that, it would look way, way too bright, and it would probably actually look kind of weird and unnatural. In fact, let's just grab our brush tool and try painting over it, and you can see how bright it gets. Let me just bring my brush size down here really quick. And you can see by painting in the whites of her eyes white, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look natural. It doesn't look human. It kind of looks almost scary. Same with the teeth. It just starts to look really blown out and like it doesn't fit in with the rest of the image. So just keep that in mind. Try practicing a little bit, maybe find some images on your own and sort of play this game. But that'll be it for this lecture, and I will see you guys in the next one.